movers and the shakers. Number one, never let somebody censor you.
I am a native of Gabon.
Go back to the Holy Quran for solutions. Now the Quran of Shaibu.
And you'll want Abdul Nasr Imam Mahmoud Al-Haji Jibril Imam Mustasha.
Look at your beauty beyond your physical appearance.
Why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, the son of Musa Kumo, as my guests and I throw you to life-changing stories. It is a Friday, and whenever it is Friday, you know what it is. It is my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. I am Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, and today I am with another great personality. You know, it's always a delight to come your way with the show, and like all other episodes, this one is not going to be different. Indeed, this one, if only is going to be different, then it is going to be even bigger and better. I'm going to go for a very quick commercial break. I'll be back shortly after I introduce my guest and we get into the show. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Thank you so very much for staying on with me on my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. My name remains Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. And today I have with me, like I said before, another great Northern personality. Someone who really have tried so hard to get into where he is today. And we can only say that we are elated, delighted, and so happy to have such a wonderful personality today in our midst. Whoever you are, wherever you are, please do take your time, get some attention, stay with us, and you would learn a great deal of lessons from this great man. Today I have with me the Honorable Shani Alhassan, Shaibu, the Northern Regional Minister here in his office. Honorable, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We are elated, like I said before, and I'm particularly delighted to have you on the show today. And I believe that by the time we finish this episode, a lot of the youth out there are going to learn a great deal of lessons from such a wonderful old man as you are. But so many people see you, but there is this particular name that is added to your name mostly, Shan Bakery. You know, is it a birth name, or how did you acquire that name?
Thank you very much for having me, and I'd like to also use this opportunity to welcome you to my office.
Thank you, sir.
Shani Bakery is a corrupted name. My name is Shani, and I got the name Bakery because I was a former worker of a bakery, or a proprietor of a bakery.
Okay.
That's how come you find the bakery attached to my name.
Okay.
I'm proud to have it
even
with one of my names, though.
But do you still operate the bakery?
Well, the bakery is still in operation, just that not on the scale that I used to do.
Indeed.
Yes.
Right, so let's now come to talk about who you really are. You know, I have followed your works and who you are for quite some time now. But if I were to ask you who is Alhaji Shani Shaibu, how would you describe yourself?
Describe myself as
in who you are, where you come from, the family you come from, how you were raised, basically, schools you attended.
I'm Shani Bakery. I come from a small village in Yendi called Sunsong.
Okay.
I was born in Sunsong some 59 years ago. Started my primary school education in Cherponi somewhere in 1967. By 1970, I was in Karaga Primary. In my 1972, I was back in Yendi to continue with my primary education. I completed my middle school at the Balogu Primary School, Balogu Middle School, also in Yendi, and proceeded to secondary school in Tamale, at Northern School of Business in 1977. And by 1982, I had completed Northern School of Business and proceeded to Ghana Secondary School for my A-level education.
You are a big man. This school you just attended, Ghana School. You are a good man. You know, sometimes the others they make noise.
I prefer Nobi school over Ghana
But
school.
that's okay. But at least you have passed through a better school. You know?
Even though Ghana school is the Ghana secondary school.
Yes.
Yes, the school of Ghana.
Yes.
I'm very proud to have gone
come back
through.
to talk a lot more about education.
Yes.
But let's come and stay with family a little. Let's talk a lot more about family.
Yes.
You say you started school at Cherpuni, but you were born in
In
Susong.
Susong, yes.
What happened? What were you doing in Cherpuni?
Well, in Susong, I come from a royal gate in Susong. My grandfather was Sunsona Hamidu Dramani.
Okay.
And our family is a royal gate.
Okay.
That succeeded itself till present date. And whilst I was young, I had to go to Cherpone to live with my uncle, who was a teacher at that time.
Okay.
So, you know, from Yendi you get to Sunsong before you get to Cherpone.
Okay.
He was a head teacher there. He felt that I was of school-going age, and he decided to pick me up, take me to Cherpone to educate me. Even though there was a school in Sunsong, I preferred to stay with my uncle because he came on a visit and asked me whether I would like to stay with him, which I obliged. So those days, it wasn't easy to get a vehicle. He had to put me on the back of a bicycle to travel for about 80 kilometers to Cherpone. Yes, we got to Cherpone, and that's how come I started my education in Cherpone.
So you took all this long journey
on a bike. Yes, on a bicycle.
Wow.
Yes.
Ghana school, you know, it's a great school by all standards. How was life in Ghana school, and what course did you read?
In Ghana school, it wasn't easy. Those days, I went to Ghana school in 1982.
Okay.
After my A-level.
Okay.
And I can tell you that I was the first student in Ghana school that contracted guinea worm. Because
serious.
It was serious. There was no water. And this Catholic mission had helped us in digging this popular Ghana school dam now. That was the time the dam was constructed. We had no option but to drink from the dam.
Wow.
And barely 2 months after drinking from that dam, I got guinea worm, which was very severe on me. Even though we still had challenges with so many other things. Those were the very dark days that you wouldn't get lights to read. You would only read through the lantern. And after 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock, the whole place becomes very dark. You can't even see each other lying in the dormitories. For school, our dormitories were very dilapidated. You could lie in, there were no louvers, and so many other things. Renovation of those institutions was a problem because we all knew what was happening at that time. Those were the very early days of the revolution. And it was difficult. Managing those schools was hell. Sometimes students had to carry water for the kitchen to be able to provide meals for them. Sometimes you had to trek to Bulpiala Dam, sometimes to the waterways.
Bulpiala?
Yes.
From Ghana school?
From Ghana school to Bulpiala. Sometimes to the waterways.
You see, this is why by Northern Achiever should be there. Program for every youth out there.
Yes.
Look at what Alaji and others went through just to be educated. Today we have electricity, there is pipe-borne water, there is everything at our doorstep, yet we cry of, like, what was the motivation? Like, at that age, I'm sure you would have, you had become a human being, a full-fledged human being.
That wasn't it. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Because not only water, but there were no textbooks for us to read. Those were the days that the subject master would have to write all that you needed to read on the blackboard for you to copy. And so those were the days we were using the tree properly. The foolscap notebooks, we were using them properly. And if you missed a lesson, then you have to copy from somebody else's book, which was very difficult. But we didn't have an option. We were reading, we were copying the notes. You needed to copy, because if you don't copy notes, what do? It's not like these days that somebody can just download something, start reading. I tell you, I mean, learning has been made so easy.
But what is interesting me here is the motivation. Like, what was the motivation? What pushed you? What kept you pushing?
You needed to educate yourself.
And this was in the 80s.
Yes.
Very early 80s.
We needed to educate ourselves. In 1980, I was challenged educationally.
Okay.
So when the term began, I didn't go to school until after just about 2 weeks to vacation.
Okay.
So one day I went for film show at Revamp.
Okay.
It was an Indian film. Stayed there late, came home around 12:15 a.m. And when I laid down to sleep, I couldn't sleep. I asked myself a question. You are almost 20 years old. If you have to live for 50 years, how would you live your life if you have to live this way? That was a question that I asked myself. I couldn't sleep that night, so I stayed out late. The next morning, I got up, packed my things. I didn't even have money that could take me to school, because I was living at the old cemetery road and I was schooling in Nobisco. So I had to carry my box. I waited until 9:04 was closer. After Maghrib prayers, I carried my box and took the road from Old Cemetery Road to Nobisco through the forest.
That was the thought that came through your mind.
So I said, no, let me go back to school. Maybe one day something would happen. That is why I said that I didn't regret for all those actions. That has made me who I am today, for which I'm most grateful to the Almighty Allah.
So from Ghana school, like I was asking, what course did you read?
Well, I read business.
Okay.
I offered economics, business management, and Islamic studies.
So from there, where next?
From there, before I even completed school, the job market was ready for me.
Okay.
Those were the days of the Northern Regional Development Corporation, who used to scout in the schools, looking for people to work. So whilst in my upper six, I was approached, getting to the end of the course, because you had a mandatory national service to do. So by the time we had finished, the Northern Regional Development Corporation needed my services. So that is where I went in to do my national service. And after my national service, they decided to keep me. It was difficult leaving because they didn't want me to leave. So I had to stay. And that is where my bakery started. After some time, and because I was put on attachment at the bakery, and by then the bakery had started developing problems, and I was sent there as the bakery manager to go and make sure that sanity prevailed there.
Who owned the bakery then?
And the bakery was a joint venture between the Ghana government and the private person who were running a joint ventureship.
Okay.
At that time, if you lived at that time, you will know that the bakery was a very important institution in the northern region. But those were the days that you could only get flour, sugar, and other confectionaries only from the bakery, the Northern Regional Development Corporation. And I was managing the place. So I had to stay to make sure that Mother Ghana was rebuilt. Those were the revolutionary days.
That would have been a tough job, wasn't it?
It was. It was very challenging.
And how were you able to remain steadfast?
Well, sometimes You just have to put your mind to something. You put your mind to something, you can always achieve. Lack of concentration would always throw you off trend. You may not even know what you are doing. But if you know what you are doing and you stay focused, you can achieve.
Right, so how long did you stay with the bakery?
I've stayed with the bakery even up to now.
Now, how did it become your own, establishment?
After the revolution had receded, there was normalization was coming into the system, and the joint ventureship had fallen apart. Now NRDC had gone defunct. It didn't die off, but the operations of the regional development corporations nationwide had all come to a standstill. Government interest in those areas was challenged. So the joint ventureship died. And when the joint ventureship died, the man who was also the private company that was also into that joint ventureship didn't have the interest in the company again, the joint ventureship. And so there was the inputs had stopped coming. No allocations were now coming. Now the allocations were now coming through the RCC. Everything was now coming through the Northern Regional Security Council. So the place lay defunct for about 2 years, even though I was still living there. But the joint ventureship wasn't there. There was no salary, there was no remuneration, nothing. So I decided to approach the private company that owned the premises to take it on higher basis. They leased it so that I could take over and lease the place. So I went in, struck a deal with them. That was in 1993 for them to lease the place for me, which they obliged.
At the time, you were still the manager.
I was.
So you started managing it in 1980.
In 1986. I started managing the place in 1986. So I took over. Now I had to look for my money to rehabilitate the place. During those times, the bakery was the only place that supplied bread to the institutions, all the institutions in the Tamale metropolis. Yes, even beyond. Other places, other schools like Yendi Secondary, Business, Damongu Secondary, occasionally would come, and so it wasn't so difficult for me to revamp the place. So after I did all these things, I re-invited the schools to keep on coming for the allocations, which most of the schools came back. And before now, I had started making some gains.
Did that in a way or two discourage you or, thwarted your efforts to going back to school?
No, that wasn't the case. After all, I needed to educate myself to be able to take up the task. And at that time...
So we'll go for a very quick commercial break.
Yes.
We'll come back and we'll talk a lot more about the schools that Alhaji continued with, from Ghana School to the bakery to which schools and how life went on for him. Do stay with us. This is my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. We're back shortly.
Pasar sela sasa bambe Northern Region shidin kimala itera program tulle the maranfane den kata bwale Miss Damba 2021 pinyadi no tabata yuno bukashi agula chamti piga form ye problem nebo mabia kaji pyanga handa Antoji TV friji numa motorbike ne kamza sa papai haiwon ko mountain yelanga ontoji lure palle den kata bwale Miss Damba 2021 so wewe ne problem nebo mabia te piga form mo kapalala na we part on the 30th June ai changa kula nya form map chege ye poka nya form mo Sagani TV, My TV, Za Radio, Dasma Radio, Sankara Radio, Bid FM, ABM Radio. There comes as a papa. Biabora, Melmatangal Mishanadam Payawo, Kapu Chant Jegal Habesha de Biari. choro so Americana zechile gumo yom yom mabya te piga form nyem pobere nebo de nyala ala 100 Ghana cedi konko kaje pyanga handa Miss Tamba 2021 de nyala don ko kan na yuno karmalya nemfo songo so nu parazo kare na tabata ngunye ti jab tamay da kam jamana Adam Musa ba makata te piga form.
Damba is our heritage and must be preserved. Thank you for staying with me on my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. I am Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. Today I have with me the Honorable Regional Minister for the Northern Region, Alhaji Shani, Shaibu, Alhassan Shaibu. And we've been having a great conversation, and we're talking about the time that he took over as the proprietor, so to speak, of the bakery that he took over from the governments, if I may put it that way. But before we continue, I would like to remind you that this number 2021 is here, and on 30th of June, the forms would no longer be there. So if you have bought your forms, please do return it to where you bought it before the 30th of June. If you haven't bought yet, the time is now. Don't do yourself. That's how we say it here. If you don't, sometime later in the year, your colleagues would be enjoying the benefits of being a part of the show, and you would regret not being a part of it. So go get your forms now for just 100 Ghana cedis, and you could win a brand new car and a project from Sontaba, Ghana. What more do you want? The exposure alone, even if you don't win, is enough to give you a head start in life. So do rush and get your forms at any of our outlets, and you will be happy you do. So Alhaji, let's come and now talk about how you were able to continue your education despite being the manager of the bakery. Like, what was the name of the bakery?
Well, the bakery was Rich Foods Limited.
Okay.
Rich Foods Limited.
Okay.
That was the name of the bakery.
Okay.
Yes.
So how is it that you continued your education whilst being the manager of the place, or you quit being manager before you went to school?
No, I didn't quit before going to school.
Okay.
And any courses that I did was in relation to proprietorship and the bakery. The bakery business was what any institution that I attended from this stage on was courses that I needed to do to abreast myself with managerial skills and other things that would enhance my managerial ability. Those were short courses, seminars, and things that would enrich my aptitude and my knowledge of management. Those were the courses that I did. You needed not to sit in the classroom to do those things. You could just do them by these short courses and just to update yourself. And because by then I had started being responsible. And my brothers, I had 8 siblings, 7 siblings, and myself 8. I now had the honors of taking care of them to make sure that I put them in school. Because I had lost my father at that time. By then, the old man has left, and I had to take care of my siblings. So I didn't have that luxury of time, that luxury of resources to go away for a long time, and I had also started childbirth.
Now, are there plans to help revamp the farming industry here in the North?
Of course. If you listen to me, that has always been my preserve. I have always wanted to be a farmer, and anything that would help farming is what I believe in. And I have had series of meetings with farming agencies in the Northern region. Since assuming office, I have had several meetings with the Director of Agric here. I've had, it's a program they call SAPIP. I have had interactions with the SAPIP management and other places that I think are of interest. Even the Minister for Agric, I've gone to have meetings with him just to see how best we can revamp the farming industry in the Northern region. Because I'm a farmer, yes. I've started seeing positive results.
how did you even get into politics? You were a baker, a manager. How did you get into politics?
Well, it was my passion. It was my passion. In 1979, when we had gone back to constitutional rule, I had played so much role in politics. And because I was a fan of the UP tradition that I met my parents in, I was so much embedded in politics at that level. A very youth exuberance would always take the better part of every youth. We found ourselves as activists, and I was introduced into politics at that tender age. Even in 1978, something nasty happened that I don't even want to recount again. When this referendum came, the yes or no referendum, something nasty happened. People who lived at that time will remember that at the Legion, the Veterans Village, something happened that we had to run for our lives.
What was it?
No, I do not need to say those things.
Once it has come up, I believe my viewers' ears are itching to know.
Well, there was a forum for people to speak about the unpalatable yes campaign. On that platform, we had the late General A.A. Afrifa and the current president, our president, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, was also on the same platform, and we were shot at by an opposing group who were opposed to whatever we were saying there. They had to disperse. We had to run for our lives. And that is where I got emboldened to do politics. Even though at that tender age, I was involved.
What was the yes or no about?
It was about Unigov.
Yeah.
Whereas the Achampong regime believed that we needed to form a union government, the opposition at that time, that was led by people like Vito Usu, then young President Kufuor, so many other Professor Dubois, a host of them, William Oforiatta, yes. I mean, mainly the Buzia Danko tradition was regarded as the opposition. They opposed it and they wanted multi-party democracy.
Have you held party positions over the years with the NPP and the Buzia tradition, the UP tradition?
Oh yes, my first party position experience was when I was sent to Nyento in the Miang district as the polling station agent for my party, the Popular Front Party. That was my first political experience. I went to keep the polls for my party in the Miang district, the Miang constituency. That was my home constituency.
Yeah.
And afterwards, everything went defunct. In 1989, when multi-party politics was rearing its head, the Buzia Dankwa tradition had started resurrecting, programming to see how best we could revamp the party. I was a young man who was very much interested in it. In my house was one of the places that, as young men, we used to meet to deliberate on whatever we needed to do to make our party a very popular one. At that time, we didn't have the NPP. What we had was the Dankwa tradition. That was what the Buzia Dankwa tradition. That was the name that was given to it. Until 1993, that NPP was formed. And I became a full-fledged member of the NPP. Yes. And from then on, I was an activist. Several times I was a polling agent. Several times I was a ward member at that level. But my first attempt at becoming a party executive, official executive, was in the year 2003. when I contested for the Tamale Central seat to become the regional constituency chairman. I lost at my first attempt. I came back again in 2004 to contest for the same Tamale Central. At that time, Tamale Central was created. I came to contest for the chairmanship again, and I lost again.
So the first one was with Shaibu.
The second one was with Tamale Central. I lost for the second time. But in the same year, in 2000, just about 3-4 months later, I contested for the regional organizing position for the New Patriotic Party in the Northern region and won as the regional organizer. At that time, my exploits in politics was now made known, and people had known that this was an enterprising young man who had a lot to offer the party. So I got recognized by the party, and I became the regional organizer up until 2009.
When you went to contest?
In 2009, I didn't go to contest. I had the intention of contesting. So in 2010, when elections were coming, I didn't. Because I had taken up a much higher responsibility of coordinating the position of regional coordinator for the Akufo-Addo campaign, which we started in 2006. So I felt that I needed more time to concentrate on the campaigns of President Akufo-Addo, to make him the flag bearer of the party. So, and it was not in the interest of the party to be a regional officer or a party officer and campaign for a flag bearer. So I decided to stay out, to do a full-fledged campaign for him, to make him the flag bearer. It continued. As I continued as his campaign manager up to the year 2011, when I decided to contest the Miang seat. I went to primaries and won. And when I won, I now had the orders of campaigning for myself to become an MP. Campaign, went for the elections, and unfortunately I lost under bizarre circumstances, because I think everybody knows what happened.
No, we don't know.
You know that a chunk of my votes was taken away from Miang and put into Yendi. Those votes that I would have used to win the elections were all taken into Yendi, including the polling station that I had my votes in.
That's serious.
Yes. And so they had to transfer my vote out of my polling station to another polling station to qualify me to contest as a parliamentary candidate for Miang. That was bizarre. Not so?
Rightly so.
Yes,
But
because
that would have been painful. And how did you take it?
well, I did all the best that I could, but my best was not enough, because somebody had to take a decision, and the decision they took was for my votes, or the votes that I needed to win were all counted into Yendi. Even that, I lost the elections with just 551 votes. It's on record. Whereas 17,000, over 17,000 votes.
Best performance of MPP until
Yes.
this year when
Yes. Until this year, that
we
we won the seat. We would have won the seat for the first time in 2012 if the 17,000 votes was not taken away from me. That was what the number of
are
votes.
those votes now back to the Miang constituency?
No, they've stayed
still
in.
with
Those votes are. It's gone, and that would be it. Regrettably, the votes that were taken from Miang constituency had never been part of Yendi constituency, because the constituency used to be Miang Nantong.
What happened? Was it an internal party wrangling? Or
No, that was somebody's machinations.
from within
Maybe,
the party?
maybe not from the party. My party wouldn't have wanted to do this to lose. Somebody else was responsible for that.
And who
There was a
that?
government in place. There was an electoral commission in place.
So you think the government of the day?
Of course, because they had their MP in there. I may say that if they thought that they were losing, all
They needed to
machinations,
everything
yeah,
humanly possible.
there was a serious gerrymandering that took place. That took me out of, that took all the chunk of the votes that I would have enjoyed from out of Miao, just for the NDC to win the seat. The first day of voting, I still won.
Yeah,
But by the next day, the electoral commissioner called me and said, we're going to continue voting in other places. I said, why? When the resources, we have counted some of the ballot boxes, why do you want us to continue voting again? And that was it. And lo and behold, by the next morning, voting started at some places again, just to make sure that I didn't win. It happened. And finally, I lost with the 551 votes that I'm talking about. So it came to the NDC candidate who happened to be my nephew. I called him. Doc, where are you? He said, oh, I'm at my party. I said, congratulations. He was shocked. He was surprised. Against the will of my own party people, because they were ready to battle. I told them that I wasn't going to lose a shed of blood
just to
because I wanted to become MP. People were aggrieved with me. People were very angry with me.
Indeed.
But I said, no. If it is me, because of me that you want to go and kill each other, or you want to go and fight for me to become MP over my dead body.
I will not be a party to that.
Because I believed in a slogan that says that God's time is the best.
And this is where we are going to go for another quick breather. And we'll come back and talk a lot more about the government in power now. Is the country going through hard times? At times hard. As the regional minister, what plans has he for the region? And as a person, what are his plans for the future? And so many more. Do stay with us. We go for a quick breather. We'll be back shortly.
The countdown is on. Have you picked your forms already? If you haven't, then the time to get yours is now. Join Miss Damba 2021 and have an experience that will last a lifetime. For as low as 100 Ghana cedis forms, you will walk away with a TV set, fridge, motorbike, or even the grand prize of a brand new car and an ambassador for Sontaba Ghana. Deadline for purchasing and submitting of forms is 30th June 2021. Get your forms at Sagani TV, Might TV, ZAR Radio, Dasuma Radio, Sankara Radio, Lead FM, AVM Radio, or call the following numbers. You can also call the following numbers to sponsor. Remember, no matter your profession or the school you are attending, Miss Damba has got you covered. Miss Damba 2021 is supported by Yabtamal Dakem Jamana Adam Musa. Miss Damba 2021, showcasing our culture.
Thank you for staying with me on my Northern Achiever. My name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. Today I am with the Honorable Minister for the Northern Region, Honorable Shani Alhassan Shaibu, here in his office at the Northern Regional Coordinating Council. Now, we are in the second term of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's regime, and there is the general belief that things are hard. Do you feel it?
Well, when I hear things are hard, I don't understand. Unless you tell me what the hard means.
There is no money in our pockets, and there's general hardship. You know, the prices of things are high, fuel prices high.
Really?
Is it not?
Are you sure?
Are you not?
No, I don't see that.
Okay.
What I see is that people are trying to adjust themselves to lives that they used not to live.
Okay.
Which is people are managing their resources very well now.
Okay.
Very well. If you take a look around ourselves, you will see that people are managing their resources very well now. This is the time that you see people dressing properly, eating properly, living in good homes, decent lives. People have decent lifestyles now. So the demand for more resources is higher because we are challenged by living decent lives. This is not the time that you find people wasting their money on drinks, unnecessary things, gambling, promiscuity, and so many other things. People now know the value of money. So whoever has any resources wants to use those resources judiciously. Have you driven around town? Have you seen the type of cars that people are riding in? Do you see how people dress these days? And do you see how the houses in which people live? It doesn't show that we are in hardship. We are only challenged by wanting to do more than
what
we have. That is a challenge that we have.
And so we complain.
So resources are scarce because people have very good use of resources, and people wish that they had more than what they have. And that is why people think that they are challenged. There's hardship. There is hardship in that sense because people are challenged. People want to do more.
Okay.
Government is doing its best. Look at the free SHS program that we are running. Free school uniforms, free textbooks, free boarding and lodging.
The textbooks, we still don't have.
We have.
In our schools.
We have. These are seasonal things. What we don't have are the new programs that has been introduced into the institutions and the curriculum is what we are yet churning out. We have, just that they are not in the numbers that we are requesting for them for. That is a challenge. But the Ghana Education Service is doing more to make sure that that challenge, we overcome that challenge.
The free SHS is a very laudable program that your government has brought.
Yes.
And any, like-minded person would agree with you.
Yeah.
However, it has its own challenges. What do you think are the challenges that you should tackle, especially in the northern region, to make it better?
Unless you tell me what the challenges are.
There's still double track.
Yes.
Students, whether they pass or not, still go to school.
Yes.
Are they not challenges?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not challenges. What is a challenge?
Okay.
A challenge is something that deprives you from an enjoyment. All that you have counted hasn't denied people from schooling.
But is it fair to go to school for a month and go back home for 3 months?
Who says that you go to school for a month and go back home 3 months?
That's what the double track brings.
It doesn't.
That's what it does.
Let's educate people very well on double track.
Okay.
Nobody goes to school for a month and goes home for 3 months. It isn't. That isn't the case. Unless, of course, you want to believe in the propaganda that is going around. Double track even gives us more learning hours than what used to prevail. Now you realize that nobody gets wasted in school. Teachers don't waste again. Teachers go to classroom, they teach for 12 months from the experience that we have gathered.
Yet they have not been given a pay rise, especially this year.
What is a pay rise about?
It's about working without vacation.
Without vacation. You accepted, I come to office, I'll be here for 12 months. I'll be paid my same salary. I have taken up an appointment to work for 12 months in a year. I'm only entitled to my annual leave, which other teachers and other educational workers are entitled to. So there's no ambiguity in whatever is happening. We only don't have enough infrastructure to make sure that schools go the normal track that we used to know. This is a novelty. That is very good. But because of this noise, ugly noises that we are hearing, people are asking us to let the status quo stay. Because they haven't studied this system. Let them challenge me. Let anybody come and challenge me that the performance of of the tracking system in the old system is better than the tracking system. We all saw what we had, the results that we got. Was it fair?
Well, it was good.
It was.
But some people still said they had copied their way through.
Copy from who? Unless, of course, they have
You
evidence.
them pass questions to
who said that? To copy what? What do you mean by copy? Unless, of course, you come and tell me that people carry textbooks into the exam halls to go and write. Are you aware that some people still didn't pass?
Indeed.
Are you aware of that?
Indeed.
Yes. But the pass rate was higher this time.
Let's come to now talk about your position as the regional minister for the Northern region.
Yes.
Did you lobby for the position?
Of course, in politics you lobby for everything.
How sure were you at the time that you were going to be named the regional minister?
Well, in politics, anything can happen. Because the first time that I needed to be here as regional minister was in 2017, when I was told by His Excellency that he was taking me to the Northern region.
Okay.
Only for me to be called again to be excused. It didn't deter me. It didn't stop me from working for the party. It didn't stop me from working for him. I kept my pace. I even increased the rate at which I was working for the party.
Was there a particular reason given as why you were denied?
Well, that is what I cannot tell. That's why I said in politics, things happen. But I was patient because I knew the man, the president, and I knew how decisive he was in taking decisions. I respected his decisions. I keep on respecting his decisions. And I trust in his wisdom. Probably he saw that that wasn't the time for me. And when the time came, he put me here.
So now that you are here,
Yes.
what plans do you have together with the president for the Northern region?
These are discussions that we have had several years ago when I started working for him in 2006, 2005, 2006. But our journey began in 1998 when we went to Sunyani, when we were running around to make him the flag bearer. Unfortunately, we lost to the former President Kufuor. We didn't stop working. But we came to the climax of our work in 2006 when he reappeared again to contest for the flag bearership. And since that time, I was working with him. So we had known ourselves for a very long time. And we had committed ourselves to making sure that Ghana was a better place to live. And since then, we've had that vision. I buy into his vision. The vision of the president is my dream.
So by the end of your 4 years tenure of office, what do you want to leave? I
want to leave a legacy that has never been in the history of the Northern region. So of late, you find out that I have even started some programs. Last month, I launched a Clean Northern Region campaign, which was successfully patronized. It's a monthly exercise that would happen every last Saturday of the month. That I want to make sure that the Northern region is rid of filth and all the sicknesses that come with it. The next program is to make sure that the Northern region become a green belt zone. We plant trees. Fortunately, there was a national launch of the Green Ghana that has come. What I'll be doing will be meant to complement the effort of President Akufo-Addo in his mandate of greening the nation. There are so many things that we want to see done. Agric is my preserve. As I speak now, farming season has started. I've started plowing my fields. And I want to make sure that by the time I leave, farmers will be better off.
What has been your life principles for growing up?
My principles of life is a very simple one. I am not extravagant. I'm very humble, very tolerant, and I'm a very sociable person. As I speak, if you have an interaction with me, you would always want to come and have an interaction with me. That is my principle. My principle is for me to share what I have with the generality of people. I'm a very passionate person and very compassionate. And
Another one,
maybe philanthropic.
Yeah, another one you've not mentioned is that you're patient.
Well,
we came in here, we took a lot of your time, but it didn't move you.
Well, that's what humility pays. Humility pays because you have to be patient, very humble. Where you find humility, you definitely will find patience.
Is there anything in life that you have done that you feel that, if given the opportunity, I would do it differently?
Well, every life comes with a challenge. Every life comes with a challenge. I have had my fair share of challenges in life. Maybe somebody might just think that it's been rosy. It hasn't been. I've had several challenges, but I just had to succumb to some of the challenges and to take them my stride. Know that they are part of living. Some of these challenges, you don't remember them again.
So which of them do you remember that you feel like, look, at some point it just broke you down, you felt like, I'll just give up? Has there been a challenge like that, and how did you overcome it?
Oh yes. In 2012, at the peak of my campaign to become the flag bearer of the constituency, when I was so much serious campaigning, member of parliament, the flag bearer visited the region. He knew my mother was not well, so after our party meeting, he told me, Shani, I want to go and see your mother. I know she's not feeling well. Can we go and have, so that I have a courtesy call on her? I said, yes. If you have the luxury of time. He said, well, why not? I need to see her. Then he rose at that meeting and told them, because they were sitting MPs who had come, who were in attendance. So he told them that, oh, I'm going to see Shani's mother. If anybody has time to go with me, can we go together? As many as 20 or more MPs followed, including the current chief of staff. We were all in attendance. We drove to my house. We went in and saw the old lady. My mother was very sick. May her soul rest in peace. The day after the visit, I didn't feel like going with the president on the campaign tour.
Because of the way you saw her?
Yes. So whilst in my living room, she sent for me. I said, why? Are you not going out today? I said I couldn't go because of her condition. Then she said, no. As for my condition, you don't have anything to do about my condition. You've done your best. Go with your friend. Go and help him to succeed. One day he would also help you. So go with him. If it's about my sickness, don't worry. You will go and come back to meet me. So
that was what gave you the encouragement to
she gave me the encouragement to go on. Then she told me that when I organized myself to leave, I came in and she said, I wish you well. Go and come in peace. Came out and left. For 2 days, we were on tour. Came back the third day. The president left. That was in January. Little did I know that she wasn't even going to live for another 2 months again. On the 31st of January, it wasn't easy. I had sleepless night that day, and by the early dawn of 1st February 2012, she was called by our Maker, and she breathed her last. This is something that has always been a challenge to me, even up to today. There's nothing I could do, because glory had come, and she had to give glory to her Maker.
The demise of your mother was that passion, that sadness. There are a lot of us who still have our moms alive, but it doesn't even look like we have moms. What advice do you have for us
That's unfortunate. I wish that my mom would have lived for just 1 hour to see this seat that I'm sitting on, just for 1 hour. Fortunately, she's gone. Those of you who are lucky to have your mothers, cherish them. Cherish your mothers. Don't worship them, but cherish them. Because they are an essential commodity that you can't find to buy anywhere.
Given your life, if you are given some 20 or more years to live on earth, in the next 5 years, where do you want to see yourself in politics?
Well, politics is dynamic. You grow into it.
But if you are given the chance, okay, let's say God spoke to you last night that honorable, okay, God will not call you honorable.
Yeah.
God will say, Shani,
Yes.
tell me what you want in the next 5 years in politics. What will you tell God?
I'll tell God to make my life right in politics. That's all that I would ask God to.
There are some people who have their eyes on the ball. Do you also have your eye on the ball?
My life is for politics. For me to serve Ghana as my motherland. Wherever God puts me is another matter. But I want to serve Ghana. And that is exactly what I'm doing.
Honorable, your final words to the youth of the North and everybody watching right about now.
I know youth exuberance is a disease. I just pray that it doesn't overtake some youth. Because out of patience, people do things that will not allow them to grow and grow properly. If we took our time to do things and do them rightly, we would achieve whatever our ambitions are. To take my alma mater's motto, that ambition is a ladder to success. If you have an ambition and you have that patience, you will always get to wherever you want to be. My advice to the youth is we should eschew those negative things of wanting to be rich overnight, wanting to be popular overnight, and wanting to be people that we want to be overnight through cutting corners and doing things that are not honorable. This is not the way for us to grow. Let us have role models and work towards making sure that we achieve those goals that we have set for ourselves. Because There's a saying that patience moves mountains. If you are patient, you will achieve, and you would have achieved what you have set, the goals that you have set for yourselves.
Is there anyone in life that you want to send gratitudes to via this medium?
Oh yes. A lot of gratitude goes to the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve my mother Ghana. Very grateful to the chiefs and people of the northern region and all the good people who have contributed in diverse ways in my life, growing up, even now that I'm in a place of responsibility. I cannot finish with this interview without acknowledging my family. My family has been so supportive. They've supported me, my wives and children, very close ones, friends that are very close to me. They've given me counsel. I'm not above counsel. I've always listened to them. And I think that the good counsel that we have always had together has always paid off with results, for which I'm most grateful. And to those watching me out there, I'd always say that let us all be patient and make sure that we stay focused on the ball, and we would always score the goals that we desire.
How many wives and children do you have?
Well, I have 3 wives.
2.
Three,
okay.
13 children. Blessed with 13 children.
You are a big man.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess this is where time is going to allow us on my own on Sagani TV. It has been a fruitful conversation with the Honorable Northern Regional Minister, Honorable Alhaji Shaibu, Shani Alhassan, Shaibu. And we can only thank him enough for giving us time. You know, he's such a busy person. People coming in and out, but he's been able to give us ample time to speak about his life. Even though we are not able to exhaust everything, but the little we have heard from him, we take it and put it into practice. Trust me, society is always going to be better for all of us. I am not particular about his life principles, humility, and all of these others that he mentioned. I believe that as youth, if we take some of these things now, trust me, society will be a better place for all of us. Thank you so much, and as I come your way again next week, my name remains Abdul-Jalil Naabeli.